Clemson files lawsuit against the ACC, and this doesn't shock me. I warned you guys about this even a year ago. I said the ACC was going to collapse, but people just don't like to believe you when you come from the video gaming realm first. People like to tell you, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I had ACC fans, some of which were, you could tell by the way they responded, were highly educated. The only problem is they weren't highly educated in the form of pigskin, baby. And so people doubted me, and people said, I am sure you guys remember, Notre Dame's contractually obligated to join the ACC, and if they're going to join the ACC possibly, and then the ACC's fine. And I said even back then, no, even if Notre Dame joins the ACC, they wouldn't be fine. And people just didn't believe me. I said a month ago, I said, no matter what, if you think that Florida State's going to be the only one taking them to court, then you're sadly mistaken. And sure as shit, you fast forward to today, Clemson's taking them to court. And the reason for this all is because they have to get out of that conference. It's going to die. But, people just don't like to believe you when you come from the gaming realm for whatever reason. Just like when I said C.J. Stroud was generational talent, you should draft him first. You guys can go look at my receipts if you want. I have them. C.J. Stroud will be a top 5 quarterback in the next 3 years in the NFL. He's extremely dominant. He got a CLS draft grade that shocked us at 96 out of 100. This is his official CLS draft grade after going through all of his film, every game, his interviews, everything that we've gone over. He is now known to us as the professor. I had him ranked as a 96 out of 100 CLS draft grade. I had Bryce Young as an 82. People called me crazy. Said, hey, bro, basically stick to your gaming realm. You don't know what you're talking about. Remember that whole Ohio State doesn't produce good quarterbacks bullshit? Yeah. Oh, and the same thing when I said Sam Laporta was first-round talent, and I had Detroit Lions in my mock draft taking him in the first round because I believe Sam Laporta was first-round talent. And I know no one else had him as a first-round pick, but I was proud of that because I believed he was, so I put my neck out there. And who knows, maybe I was right. I heard he had a decent rookie season. So basically all Clemson's doing is attacking in a different way than Florida State. They're basically asking for the courts to rule on this and say what the ACC has binding in the contract and what they don't. What's basically legal and what's not. And that's what they're doing because the writing's on the wall. The ACC is dead. No one, not even the ACC, truly believes that they're going to survive this. Okay, because not only do you have the issue of when Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, and those teams leave, but then you have to worry about something else entirely, and that's the Big 12. Because the Big 12 has a tendency, if you look at history, to clean up the rest of a conference, aka the Pac-2. Shout out to them boys. And there's nothing to stop them. Okay, because they have to feast. The Big 12 makes so much less money than the SEC and the Big 10 does. It's not even close. So the Big 12 has to do something because the Big 12 is in just as much fear. I know people like to think that they're not, but they are. Because if your teams get too good in the Big 12, they're going to leave to go to the Big 10 and SEC. Okay, because it just makes too much money. It makes too much sense. So that's all you're seeing here is Clemson is saying, well, look, we need, to understand truly what we're up against. And then all that's going to happen is when the minute they get the money, hey, this is how much it's going to cost. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, they're going to be out so fast. I'm telling you, I don't care if the amount of money is $300 million. I don't care if it's $180. I don't care if it's $500 million. You have no option. You have to leave the conference. You have to. I honestly, it doesn't matter how much it is. It really doesn't. People are like, well, it does matter. No, it doesn't, because the alternative's death. It's like a surgery that they're like, if you don't get the surgery, you die. So it's up to you. And I know people are like, that's so dramatic. You have no idea what they're up against. You don't know how ugly this is going to get. What you think, if you don't cover this and you don't know it entirely, there's people say well, Clemson should join the SEC because it's if they leave, and same with Florida State because it makes the most sense for them. No, it doesn't. In what world does it make the most sense for them? People got to stop thinking about this stuff with the football mindset. You need to think about this as a business. The minute you start adding your football emotions into this is the minute you stop knowing what the hell you're talking about. I'm telling you, you don't know what you're talking about if that's the case, because The Big Ten makes more money. The Big Ten is a national brand. The Big Ten made more money when it was a regional brand. The Big Ten gets more viewers than the SEC does. The Big Ten is also separating their big guys. They're going to have more guys going into the playoff. Their recruiting is going to get better. They also have 3 TV networks covering them instead of basically just one like the SEC. And after a decade, trust me, that's going to pay off because they're going to start talking highly about the Big Ten. And that's going to help them in recruiting as well. Exactly what ESPN did for the SEC. So, I don't know. You can look at this a million different ways till Sunday. But all they're doing right now is they're having a negotiation with the ACC through the court system because they need to find out exactly what they're up against, and then they're going to go from there. And then the ACC is probably going to say, okay, we'll settle with you. We're not going to charge you $300 million for everything. We're going to charge you maybe 180. And I'm not giving you exact numbers. Like, I think these are going to be the numbers. I'm just giving you examples. Okay, even if it's $572 million. At the end of it all, they're probably going to work with them and say, well, we'll give you, we'll let you, leave for $300 million. We'll settle for that. It doesn't matter. No matter what, in my opinion, there's going to be some settling happening, and you're going to see a mass exodus from the ACC. And I think Clemson and Florida State and even North Carolina would be smart to go to the Big Ten. It provides a new region. They get more money. They're going to make the Big Ten more money and themselves more money than they would make it in the SEC, in my opinion, because the SEC already owns those regions besides North Carolina. You're not gaining any new region. You're only gaining maybe 50, 60% of that region, possibly, because you're already in that region. The Big Ten's getting 100% because they've never been in that region. And trust me, they're going south. I know SEC fans are like, oh, SEC can't let them go south. It's happening. You can't stop them. You don't have the power to stop them. You don't have the money to back up. They make $1.15 billion per year approximately, where the SEC only makes $710 million. What power do you think you have? Because money talks. And that's where I follow. If there's 2 companies talking to me, and one's going to pay me a lot more money, shit, I don't care what the other one says. I just don't care. They could be like, well, we have free coffee Fridays. I don't care. It doesn't matter. So, with that being said, that's where I'm at. And honestly, I really don't think it matters where they go, because I think that they're going to work together anyways, the SEC and the Big Ten, and it's going to be one big conference anyways. They're just going to make one's going to be like the NFC, the AFC. So in reality, I don't think it really matters. That's my opinion on this entire thing. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel.